While researching for this week's eMTB rating, the Giant Trance E+ Pro, I kept scrolling past the 2022 version of the Giant Trance E+. I just couldn't resist clicking and watching all the reviews and first impressions. What attracted me right off the bat was the redesigned sleek lines and the brand new Starry Night paint scheme. It was like bling, but not over the top bling. You can also adjust the seat tube angle as well as the bottom bracket height via flip chip and an all-new integrated electronic system. I was becoming a fan already, and I just couldn't help myself to change today's eMTB rating to the all-new 2022 Giant Trance Advanced E+2. The Trance Advanced models are made of a full carbon composite front and rear triangle, a full 29-inch front and rear bike with 150 millimeters of front and 140 millimeters of travel in the rear. So I have to apologize to my viewer for not sticking with my original plan to rate the Trance E+ Pro, but I promise I will give that bike a rating in future videos. A quick rundown of my rating system for new viewers. The Send It Frankie rating system is based on a 10-point system. 10, you send it, and 1, you lose it. The bike will be ranked based on 5 categories: cost, battery, torque, integration, and parts that don't match the price. We then average all 5 categories together and place it on the Send It Frankie scale, and at the end of the year, we can define a clear winner. I'm not a professional. None of my advice is professional advice. I'm just an eMTB enthusiast, and my ratings are just purely based on specs for now. So with that being said, let's start today's rating on all-new 2022 Giant Trance Advanced E+2. At $7,000 MSRP for a mid-tier build, a full carbon construction, I think the price is fairly decent. It is at the low-end spectrum of mid-tier builds, so I actually give this category a 7 out of 10. The battery is a 625 watt-hour battery. I believe any bikes coming out of 2022 should at least have a minimum of a 625 watt-hour. A nice standard, a solid 7 out of 10. Next, we move to the motor and the torque. Giant has been working with Yamaha to create its newest motor, the PWX3, with 85 newton-meters of torque. With my rating system, we can only rely on the torque specs for now. I do not have enough resources to ride every single motor, and hopefully that could change in the future. So for now, I give the 85 newton-meters of torque an 8 out of 10. So let's move on to the integration of the electronics and the controls. Giant has rolled out their brand new redesigned Ride Control Ergo 3, grip integrated, and their Ride Control Go. The controls are much more intuitive to use, paired up with the newly designed Ride Control on the top tube. It is a huge improvement to the previous versions. I totally dig it. More brands should be doing this. I just wish Bosch could allow bike brands to develop their own controls as well. So in this category, I give a very high score of 9 out of 10. So now let's check out the parts that don't match the price. We rate this category by adding points into 4 categories: fork, shock, drivetrain, and the brakes. The higher the points, the lower the score. In the fork department, we have a Fox 36 Performance, which is the lowest tier of the 36 series, which has the Fox grip dampers that allows you to adjust the rebound and the compression. With the 36 millimeter stanchion, I believe that is plenty of support and stiffness for a 150 millimeter, 140 millimeter travel bike. So no points added there. Next, we look at the rear suspension. The E+2 is fitted with a Fox DPS Performance. This, in my opinion, is a bit weak. A Fox DPS is enough for a 140 millimeter travel bike, yes, but we are looking at a mid-tier bike that is $7,000 MSRP. So if you're going to spec a performance, so why not spec a Fox FloatX Performance instead of a Fox DPS Performance? It would make this bike an even more capable bike right out of the box. So that's 1 point added to this category. Now let's take a look at the drivetrain. The Advanced E+2 is equipped with the Shimano SLX shifter and derailleur combo. A really good selection for the $7,000 mid-tier build, so no points added there. Lastly, we look at the brakes. It is a Diore 420 series, which is a 2-piston brake. I'm not quite sure what Giant was thinking here, even though we have a 150, 140 millimeter trail bike. This is still an eMTB. The way these machines behave is a little bit different from the regular bikes. This would be the first thing I swap out of the box and swap it into a 4-piston setup. And on top of that, I would have went with a SLX 4-piston. So that's 1 point added there, which gives us a total of 2 points added to the category of parts that don't match the price, giving us a total average of 8 out of 10, which isn't too bad for this category. Now let's recap on the total ratings for this bike. With an MSRP of $7,000, it received a 7 out of 10 on the price. With a 625 watt-hour battery, it received a 7 out of 10. At an 85 newton meters of torque, it received an 8 out of 10. It did extremely well on the integration department and received a 9 out of 10. And it also did well on parts that don't match the price with an 8 out of 10. With a total score of 39 out of 50, giving us an average score of 7.8 on the Send It Frankie scale. So is this Giant Trance Advanced E+2 worth the $7,000? I give it a fist bump and say send it if you're looking to purchase this bike. It is a great eMTB with a full carbon frame, all new redesigned controls with a sleek interface. I'm actually really impressed by Giant this time around. You know, in previous versions, I never really thought about purchasing the Giant Trance or the Giant Rain. And I think this time around, with all the changes that Giant has put into this bike, if I had a chance to purchase a new bike, definitely Giant Trance X or the Giant Rain is going to be in my sights. So there we have it, our third e-bike on the ranking system. I'm actually really surprised the Trance E+2 did so well. And remember, at the end of the year, we will decide a clear winner for this channel. So if you found this video useful, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Also, hit up my Patreon and support me on Patreon so I can continue to rate more eMTBs for you all. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you on the next one. Peace. Oh man, allergies.